Eyes locked and hearts in tune. You believe in me and I trust in you, my God.
Fantasy Golf Podcast. My name is Andrew Poor. I go by Andrew Putters. I'm with my friend, colleague Joe Nicely. We're coming to you from East Tennessee, but we're talking about golf up north in Ohio. We've got the same course but different tournament this week for the first time in our lifetime. But we've got more exciting things that we need to talk about, and that's been we've been on the golf course the last few days, and I am dying to hear what is about to come out of Joe's mouth because I know there's some good story. There's a battle of the bloods that we're calling this. We can call it that, yeah. A couple of cousins going at it in a little celebrity death match on Sunday afternoon. I heard there may or may not have been emergency 9, but I'm gonna go ahead and hand over the mic to you, and you go ahead and just fill me in on what happened Sunday. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey man, good to see you. Yeah, there was an emergency 9 overtime 9 that took place Sunday. Had to go into extra innings. Went up to Rarity Bay, which if you're familiar with East Tennessee, is a beautiful golf course up on the Tellico Lake up there. Really nice. Had to take this strap show on the road up there last weekend. I'm terrible. I'm terrible. But I had a lot of fun, man. Played with some young guys. And we got to talk about the tiebreaker, the overtime 9. Peyton Booker, my guy, shot 67 the Sunday before, birdied in the last hole to break 50 this Sunday on the overtime 9. So shout out Peyton Booker. You're my guy. But yeah, man, we had a ton of fun up there. Play with those young guys, and man, they hit it so good and hit it so far. It's tough for me to hang with them, but yeah, it was real fun. Now let's talk about another issue here locally. Maybe controversial. I don't know if we're going to label it that, but tell me about the Knox County 2-am. 70 the first day. How does a legend like Andrew Poor with a partner shoot 70 the first day and get that cushy second flight placement and then come through at the 63 on Sunday?
Well,
fill me in about that.
So anybody that's played significant amount of golf will know if you take a lot of time off, your game's going to be questionable from time to time. So the format was a modified low ball, which is basically you both hit your tee shots, you take the best shot from there, and you play your own ball out. So basically, you can give it a rip on the tee box. And the guy I play with is Michael Goforth. If you saw from the hype video, I nicknamed him the Sheriff because of the stash. But he's a real good player. And, we were going out there trying to win the whole thing. And the first day we started out at Three Ridges Golf Course, birdieing the first 3 holes. And actually, I birdied the first 3 holes. And then get to number 4, and 4's I DeChambeau'd number 4. You played Three Ridges, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so number 4 is 365-yard par 4, slightly uphill. And I teed it up real high. I swung it my guts out, and I drove it on the front edge of the green. Chipped up there about 2 foot and missed the putt. And after that, it was like it just deflated us. We hit it out of bounds on a hole. Hit it out of bounds on hole 10. I think we made another bogey. Then we made a birdied. We eagled 17, then bogeyed 18 to shoot 70. Look, there wasn't any much. There was a few comments. You're always going to get comments when a couple of good players in a low ball event shoot a couple under. So we did that. And then on Sunday we came out and rough start, but then my man put on a show. Let's just put it this way. I cut him 2 shots. He shot 64. Of course, we used some of my drives, but he shot 8 under on his own ball. So that was pretty fun to watch. Yeah, pretty fun to watch. He made 2 eagles. I don't know, however many birdies, but yeah, it was pretty fun to watch.
Okay, we're gonna let you slide. The explanation. I'll buy the explanation of rust on Saturday.
Did you like my hype video though? That was pretty.
I loved it, man. We got to remember to turn that phone sideways.
Oh yeah, coming in.
I think it like makes it small when you just hold it up and down.
Yeah, you're right. It does. I don't know. I was just goofing off we just put the kids to bed. And I was goofing off. I said, I'm gonna make a little video because we
I
sucked.
tried to get some video at Rarity Bay with those boys, but I couldn't get anybody to sign a release
So,
for their likeness to be used. Yeah, those
oh yeah,
those boys are
I,
tight with it.
yeah, I know. Yeah, plus they got the law on their side, literally.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah.
oh yeah. Good crew though. Had a great time up
What
there.
was the matchup like out there? That's the real question. So tell who
Well, it
all
was we were we were kind of it was tough because we had seven. I think somebody was supposed to come that didn't come. Um, but the first go round, the teams were way out of whack. So I lost dinner. My team lost dinner on the first 18. So we had to do the old reshuffle. Had to get in negotiations there for the overtime nine, and that was where the cash came into play, and that went my way. So
Mm,
shout out Chase Buckman, he played great, baby, on
the
that
cup,
last one.
the
The cake,
cupcake.
yeah,
Well,
yeah. But we had fun, man. It was love the Brook. They had the 3 club tournament over at the Brook on Sunday, and I can't play with 14, so I didn't I didn't try to play the 3 club tournament. So traveled. We
yeah,
went on the road this past weekend, but it was fun, man. I'm glad I got to play. Glad you're getting to play some. I know it's always tough for you, but glad you're getting to get out there and play.
yeah. And the reason I even played this weekend was that I had the state four ball coming up today, and so I wanted the only way for me to really get practice is to sign up for tournaments because I kind of put it on the family calendar and then I basically you've always heard ask for forgiveness, not for permission, right? So you just put it on the
Yeah,
family calendar, and it's in the family calendar. Nothing we can do. We gotta go play
right.
golf. So
We're locked in.
yeah, we're locked in. So I played Fox Den the last couple of days in the state four ball. And basically, this format is a just a straight low ball. You and another partner. It's 1 day stroke play event to go from 80 teams down to 32. And from that point, they go to match play. And today was the qualifying round. And I took a young man that's 14 years old and he's really up and coming. I was just trying to help him get some experience in some adult tournaments. And he played really good today. We were 4 over as a team through 5 holes. We started off horribly, ended up getting it back to 2 under and just missing out of the match play by 1 shot. So golf course was playing really, really hard. Um, he made like he made 5 birdies, so I mean, he played great. 14 years old, he's phenom.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
He's really good. So
Yeah,
you probably saw. I think you saw maybe this. I think the Tennessee Golf Station put a little video out from us
yeah,
at one tee
yeah.
today. So
So I've seen his swing, man. It's crazy.
yeah,
It's
he's a good
crazy.
player.
Yeah.
Good player. So let's get into the next big announcement is uh, post COVID-19. The cat is back, baby. What
That's
we doing
right.
with the cat this weekend? We scared to death. We all over him. What do you think?
Oh
Man
man,
likes to live off data.
I've kind of been all over the place with him. Um, I initially thought he would go a little not overlooked, obviously, but I thought people would be reluctant to roster him. So I was ready to jump on board, maybe go overweight if that were going to be the case. But what I'm seeing right now, it looks like he's going to be pretty popular. They got him at that 9K price tag, and it looks like people are going to roll with him. Man, he's a 5-time winner here. He looked great in that charity event with Mickelson and Peyton Manning and Brady. Looked great in that, but this is going to be his first competitive golf tournament since February. So, I mean, he has had a long, long layoff. Now we know if anybody can do it, it's him. If anybody knows how to prepare, it's Tiger. Um, but yeah, man, it's kind of interesting what do you do with him this week on a golf course that he's won 5 times, but he's coming off a almost 6-month layoff. So I'll at the end of the day, I'll have some Tiger. I'm not going to be all in or all out on him. I'll probably sprinkle him in because he is a good price at that 9K range. So that's where I'm at with him. I think he's got a chance to play really well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I originally was thinking I was all in. I was gonna roster him across the board and just throw all the chips on the table, push them to the center, all in. But kind of looking around in that area, I mean, you got you know you got Justin Rose right around that area that I'm just. I mean, I've always been a Justin Rose supporter, but he's really scared me off. You got Brooks, who knows what's going to happen. really, I mean, the tournament, maybe your lineup could be chosen between the 9400 and the 8900. If you pick a couple guys in there and gamble on them, and they come out firing for you, then that might be actually your advantage, because the this range right here, you just want to find somebody that's going to be up there in the top 5, top 10, and just
Yeah.
not saying these guys don't have the talent or the know-how. I mean, but there's a part of every one of them that scares you to death to play them, right?
Yeah. For the most part, my one exception in there would be at 9800 Cantlay, Patrick Cantlay. I would have zero fear of rostering him this week. Um, we talked about him last week. I liked him last week, but we also mentioned he doesn't play a big schedule. He takes a lot of time off. Tries to do maintenance on his back. He's had trouble with over the years. But I really do like him this week because we are getting him off an outing last week. Pretty quiet. Shot 65 on Sunday though. Went shooting up the board. So I love him in this spot. Love him on this golf course. I would have zero reservations about really having a lot of Cantlay this week. So he's kind of the one guy I would have no fear about. Another guy, we've talked about him a lot. There's Victor Hovland. I was in on him big last week, and it went well. Luckily, I would like to see him win. I was happy to see Morikawa win. We'll talk about that in a minute, but um, Hovland's just playing some great golf. Tremendous ball striker. Obviously, this course is a great fit for him. So he's somebody to look at. But man, it's just so. I mean, show me a bad player there. From obviously the top of the board down to mid eights. Show me a bad option in there. You could argue Rose, Ricky, maybe, but uh, there's not many bad options in there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not necessarily the question I have about him, but I mean, like, say, so look at Matsuyama here at 9400, right? Normally, you're going to say, I don't like him at that price. But he has been on record many times saying, I love this golf course. Not that I like it, I love it.
Yeah.
And if he gets streaky with the putter, you've seen him blow fields away, just like Cantlay. We playing Morikawa off of victory?
Morikawa is interesting because we normally have a tendency in the DFS community to lay off guys the week after a win, right? But I think it's kind of intriguing, maybe going back to him this week, because I think his ownership's going to be really depressed because he did win last week. But where'd he go? He didn't go anywhere. I mean, they're still at Muirfield. It's not like he was out partying. I read an article, I think it's Golf Digest or one of those, that he went to some family friends of his caddy's house, had some steaks and maybe a few drinks, and he was back at the hotel. So it's not like the kid, and plus, I don't think he has that type of personality. I think he's shown a lot by bouncing back from the whole Colonial thing. We talked about that last week. If Berger took his soul or not, obviously his soul's still doing well because he played great, man. I mean, played lights out. Just how clutch can you be? And I think I've said it here before. I know I've written about it, but I think he's got a chance to be the best iron player we've seen since Tiger. I really do, and that game is going to always translate well on this Memorial Golf Course.
Yeah. So, I mean, saying that around this range, you still on Hovland in this range? Over Webb Simpson, over
Well, that's the thing,
Matsuyama?
man. You're making such tough decisions. I mean, if you roster Hovland, you're like you said, are you going to play him instead of Webb or Matsuyama, who's won here, who came out firing last week? Just kind of got on a cold run with the putter, and then he's not always my cup of tea. But you got John Rahm there at 93, which feels really really cheap for Rahm. He gained 4 strokes on approach last week, so you kind of feel like some things are starting to click for him. We've talked about how the layoff was probably really bad for him. But you feel like he's coming in form. Xander played well last week. I think Xander gained a lot of strokes putting, which is always a little bit of a concern. But I mean, he's a gamer, man. He wins big tournaments. So you got to like Xander there. Koepka, you got to feel like he's going to going to have something to prove this week. So there are just so many directions you can go. I mean, just from the 9, from Tiger at 9 up to Morikawa at 10. Uh, Man, you got some great players in there, and the pricing is flexible. So I mean, you can look at getting squeezing 2 or 3 of those guys in there. If that's where you want to start. If you want to start in that range, you can get 2, 3 of those guys in your lineups this week.
Yeah, I agree. But there's some names here at the top that don't always look flash. I mean, they are flashy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they can win on any golf course. They've dominated the PJ Tour in their time. Um, Problem I have at the very very top, you got Justin Thomas, who if his putter goes, I don't know. He's so interesting because does it not seem like he's there every week right now?
He is. He's so consistent. Um,
Hits the
that's
ball
what.
so good.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a great player, man. He really is. And you can argue that he maybe let that one. I mean, he would say he probably let that one slip away Sunday. Started the day with the lead, gave it up, got it back, 3-shot lead with I think 3 to go. Then made a huge clutch birdie putt in the playoff, and Morikawa somehow answered. So JT won and lost that tournament about 5 times Sunday, I think. But you kind of have to wonder mentally uh, where he's going to be this week after that. I'm always a little concerned about a letdown on a near miss. When these guys lose in the playoff, that's a little bit different than maybe coming in with a strong runner up or top 5. It seems like it takes a lot out of you when you lose in the playoff. So that would maybe be my only reluctance about JT. Nothing about his game. I think his game's super solid. It translates anywhere. But I'm maybe a little bit worried about the hangover from the playoff loss to Morikawa last week. And then you got Bryson, man. We're not even talked about Bryson, maybe the biggest story in golf since the restart. Got him up at the top. He's a former winner here at Memorial. So what are you thinking about Bryson, the big boy, this week?
Here's my downfall on Bryson. I always try to find a reason to scratch somebody off. You know, I'll put all the players on the list, and I've tried to find a reason why it's a no for me. And I'll tell you why it's a no for Bryson on me this week is that yes, he's had great finishes over the last. He's played what? We've played 5 tournaments now. And this is the 6th. He played in the first 4. He finished top 10 in all, winning 1. And however, his shots on approach has declined every week. And we know that's a big deal in this place. I'm not saying that he can't win because we already know he can. He's got such an advantage with the driver. Plus, he's been in fuego with the putter the last 2 tournaments he played in. So, but his shots approach declining. I feel like the greens are going to be a lot firmer. They said they haven't mowed the rough since last Monday or something like that. So there's going to be a premium on hit greens and how close you are, and that's why Tigers won here so much. That's my thoughts on Bryson only. That it had been declining already.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, man. That's a terrific point. Couldn't have said it better myself. This is a second shot golf course, and his approach numbers, even though he won last time out, you can't do any better than that. But he led the field in strokes gained driving, led the field in strokes gained putting, and gained strokes on approach. But he was hitting wedges most of the day. So if you're looking for a reason to fade Bryson, you can say that maybe his approach game is a little bit of a concern on this golf course where it's of such importance. And you can also say that maybe he's not going to run that hot with the putter. Just keep on running that hot on the greens. There's always a chance that that's going to drop off. So, I mean, if you're looking for a reason to fade him, totally understand if you want to roster him. I mean, I'll probably have a little bit of him just because he is playing so well right now. But if you're looking for a reason to go another direction, you made a great point on that, on his approach game. And I would also, not be surprised to see the putting numbers decline a little bit.
Yeah. We usually don't ever touch DJ coming off a layoff, right? Is that fair par for our record?
Yeah, Yeah, that's fair. I'm keeping an eye on him because of his ownership. I saw earlier today he's right now currently projected below 10%, one of the lowest guys up here in this range. So that kind of piqued my interest in him a little bit, and he has played well here. I think in two of his last three starts, he's had top tens here, I believe. So DJ can win in bunches. I mean, we've seen him do it, but yeah, I would prefer if he had played last week. But he's interesting if you want to play the ownership game with him and give him a look.
Yeah. And my brother runs a different model that he made up himself, and he said you're not gonna believe this, but the person that graded out the best in his model was none other than the one and only Rory McIlroy, who we've already said can win on any golf course. And this is gonna feel like a U.S. Open. I'm not saying the score's gonna be lower because there's 4 par fives, but this is gonna feel like a U.S. Open kind of golf, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to have that type of vibe to it because of the quality of field, because the rough's going to be thicker, because the greens are going to be running fast, and it's such a quality golf course. We've mentioned it before. Rory can win anywhere, like you said. The thing that concerns me about Rory is his iron play's kind of been the weak link in his game, and that's what's going to be tested so much this week, as well as his short game. So obviously, Rory can go out there and win. I'm not going to have a ton of exposure. I'm not in love with him this week, just for those couple of reasons. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously got as much upside as any player in golf.
Yeah, so let's drop down now. We've already said the 85 and up, name me a bad player. We can't, pretty much. Let's drop down that next level. So now we're going to be at 84, P. Reed, the man we love to hate to love, Tony Finau, all the way down to my man, the Spieth. This is basically your beat. This is basically if you're playing a couple of those nines, this is going to be your third guy in, so very interesting. I mean, you got to think that Garcia and Casey are unconscious, tee to green. You love that. Same thing with Neiman. Leishman shot a 43-ish last week on the front nine on Friday, and I was in tears. Jason Day, big top 10. And then you got Sanjay M, who's probably having arguably the best season of anybody this year, other than DeChambeau.
Until the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Sung Jae's took a nosedive, man.
I mean,
I don't know what's going on with him. I was looking at his numbers today. He's lost strokes, approach, and putting like his last three starts. I'm not sure what's up with Sung Jae. But yeah, man, you named off obviously another very strong range. I mean, and even kind of right there above those guys, you've got Daniel Berger, who's arguably played as well as anybody. But he's took a couple weeks off, so is it going to be kind of an out of sight, out of mind thing for people with him? Definitely interested in Berger if it feels like he's going overlooked. And Answer, we're looking for good iron players, and Abraham Answer hit 18 of 18 greens at Hilton Head just a few weeks ago. So you have to kind of put him in there in consideration. And then the guy that's been just killing me, Tony, at 8,300, he feels really cheap. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, he shot 59 last week. He didn't play at the workday, but he was somewhere in Utah and shot 59. But he's interesting to me just because he is a quality player. You feel like things aren't hitting on all cylinders, but eventually, he's going to come around. He's played well on this golf course in the past. Definitely a talented guy. Kuchar is a player that I'd normally be knocking people over to roster here, but he's just not shown much since the restart. He's looked really sluggish. He's got a great course history here, but I think he had like a T39 last week, lost strokes with his irons. So, I mean, I probably won't go there. Neiman, I've been riding pretty heavily. He gained 4 strokes with his irons last week, so I'm definitely willing to go back to Neiman. Leishman, I'm out, man. I know you love him. If there's a reason why you think you can go there this week, let me know. Yeah, I just can't get there with him. He's another one of those guys that the layoffs seem to have really, really hurt he was having a big year, and he's struggled mightily since they started back. Sergio's been playing well. It's hard for me to go there with him just for emotional reasons. He's hurt me so many times that it's hard for me to go to Sergio, but he has been playing well. He's a ball striker, man, and he could definitely play well on this course. I can't go with Spieth, I don't think. Are you going there with Jordan this week?
I can't. I mean, here's what's going to happen is he's going to probably shoot somewhere around even par for the week, whether it's 72 holes or 36, and he's going to have probably about 20 birdies. So that's just the number I'm throwing out there, So basically, if he played 72 holes, he'd have enough birdies to possibly even win the tournament. But here's what's going to happen is he's going to hit 3 drives a day that you're like, is this guy a 7 handicapper? Dead right or duck hook or in the, just out of nowhere, by the way, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, like this layout is very forgiving off the tee. I mean, there's plenty of room to hit fairways. If you hit the rough, you're in trouble because it's going to be pretty penal. But for the most part, the fairways are fairly wide, fairly easy to hit. So you would maybe think Spieth in this spot, but I don't know, man. With so much quality in this field, it's just tough to get behind Spieth. And speaking of quality, there is a lot of banger out there in like that 76 down to 74, 7,300 range. Streelman's playing extremely well. Played great last week, had a runner at finish at the Travelers, and he's got amazing course history here. So he's a guy that I'd be willing to go back to. Doc Redmond, we've been playing a lot. He's a great ball striker. Doesn't have a ton of experience on this layout, but he's somebody that's interesting. Sabatini's kind of been up and down, but he played well last week. And then we're looking for ball strikers. Corey Connors there at 74 is one of the best with the irons that there is in the game. Always struggles with the short game, which is a concern here. And then maybe kind of the wildest price drop of the week there at Adam Hadwin at 7,400. He was 8,200 last week. Obviously, this is a stronger field, but man, he's pretty tempting sitting there at 74. Any of those guys you're liking?
I'm gonna throw a name out there that we have loved to hate a lot, and I never can catch him on the good time or the bad. Is Lucas Glover at 7,100. I hate his game, but he hits it so straight, and he hits a lot of greens. And guy could literally come out. I mean, he's top 25 every tournament he's played in since the break, and he could go. I mean, he literally could come out here and shoot 10 under and top 10 this thing easy. I mean, you know what? 19 under getting the playoff this past week. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was at 19. I mean, yeah.
Even though the field's better, the score's probably going to be less.
Right.
I'm thinking, so.
Yeah, the course is going to play tougher. Greens are going to be faster. I mean, I could see somewhere like 15, 16 maybe this week, even though they're, like you said, the field's better. You want to talk about a sicko play? I'll see your Lucas Glover, and I'll raise you Keegan Bradley at 7,200. Keegs, the sicko of all sickos, gained 10 strokes on approach last week. He led better than Morikawa with his irons last week, Andrew. Better than Morikawa with his irons last week, and lost a ridiculous, like almost 7 strokes putting near the bottom of the field. I think the only one worse is a sick flyer of extremely hot randomly, and maybe to win it, he might shoot 80, miss the cut. He might shoot 65, 80, and miss the cut. We've seen that happen with him before, so anything's possible with Keegan.
Yeah, somebody else that I'm having a hard time getting on EVR or Harmon just because what they did to me in the Rocket Mortgage. What's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, same. AVR is always kind of interesting because he is such a good ball striker. But I mean, even right there, man, I would almost,
sounds kind of sick to say it out loud, but at 7, I would almost look at Sepp Straka, or maybe even another, if you're looking for a deep dive, maybe Danny Willett, who showed a little something a couple of weeks ago that we know can handle this Augusta-like type of track um, rather than EVR. And I'm with you on it. And maybe I guess it's just hangover. But Damon, I can't get there at 71. He crushed me last week, man. I really liked him, and I was shocked by his performance last week. He tanked a ton of lineups for me. So I doubt that I can go back there, even though, it might make sense as a bounce back play, like in big GPPs or something, but I can't get there myself. Who you liking below 7? Anything down there for you?
Yeah, I can't believe he's this low. What's Brandon Grace doing at 6,300, Joe? That's low.
It's very low. I mean, we know he's flashed some quality play, and I thought he was maybe going to get back on track this year. He won the South African Open, I guess in December, January, and then put some pretty good outings together. I think he played well at the Farmers, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe played well at the Schwab at the restart. But yeah, he's super cheap. I feel you on that. My guy, he came through for us with a little made cut last week. He's down there at 63. He's a guy you can play. Tyler Duncan, I've played a lot. This is obviously a stronger field, but he's down there at 6,300. So I mean, I think there's some guys you can go to down there this week if you want to get really aggressive up at the top. Maybe try to squeeze 3 of those 9K guys in there. Or if you love Bryson, you want to get him in there matched with somebody like a Cantlay or something, you can do it. Taylor Gooch is another player that I was looking at down there. Played well last week. He's really streaky, but he looks really sharp last week at the workday on this course. Hit his irons extremely well. He can get hot. He's a guy down there that you might want to consider. So yeah, there's some places you can go down there this week. I actually like the lower end much better this week than I did last week.
Yeah. So let's get to this. Yeah. So Joe, in closing, who's your guy that I guess we always call it your guy, your sleeper, your pick? I mean, we've already named off several names throughout this whole thing, but and it can be somebody you already named. So who's your guy that you're kind of like, I'm playing him this week, and nobody's really, it's kind of out of left field, or who's your pick, and who's your low hanging, or your who's your sleeper, I guess, not necessarily to win, but to play well.
Well, I think it sounds gross to say, but I think Keegan is a guy that I will consider, even though I know it's very scary and it almost never works out. But anytime a dude gains 10 strokes with his irons the previous week, I'm interested, especially on a second shot golf course. He's got 2 T8s here throughout his career, so he's probably a left fielder that I'll have in some lineups. I mean, I'm not going to go overboard because it is Keegan, but anytime you can catch a guy hitting his irons like that, I mean, I'm at least going to give him a look. Down below him, Gooch intrigues me because he played well early in the year. I had a lot of luck rostering him earlier in the year. He's kind of fell off a little bit since the restart, but he did look good last week. He's an explosive player. He's kind of got some sneaky upside. So I'd say those 2 guys down there are kind of my little sneaky cheaper plays that I'll be throwing in some GPPs this week.
Yeah, my guy, and we died with him last weekend, and we're going to rise with him this weekend, and it's Jim Furyk. Golf course going to be playing a lot tougher. He shot 4 under the second round last week. This is his. This golf course could not set up perfect for him. I mean, they got the guys. Got some years on him, but Jim Furyk is he's probably gonna be like 2% owned. I don't know. I think some of the people might be talking him up, so he might actually get be a little bit more higher. But also obviously I already mentioned Glover. I love him on this. I love him this week. Those are my two guys, my sleepers, I guess you could say. I'm gonna be. I've always loved to sneak Brandon Steele in there and Harmon and EVR, but I don't mind Steele, but I can't get over what those two did to me in the Rocket Mortgage. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
Yeah, it's hard to let go sometimes. I mean, that's, intellectually in my mind, I know that Damon is a bounce back candidate this week because he had played such great golf, and that performance last week just totally came out of left field. So you kind of feel like he might bounce back from something like that. But it's just tough. It's tough to make yourself go back there when they just burned you the week before. So I totally feel you on that, man.
We think about one last thing, the flaky guy, Kevin Na.
Kind of like I was talking about with Sergio earlier. It's kind of an emotional thing with me and Na. He's WD'd on me a couple times. So I just never seem to get him right. I mean, I think I've hit on him a couple times, and he's a quality player, man. He's just he's really hard to rely on. If you're throwing in 25 lineups, or you're maxing a big GPP out or something, you might want to grab a little bit of exposure. But he's not a guy that I'll be going to. So if this past podcast record is any indicator, that means get Kevin Na in your lineup because I won't have any of him. So that means you probably want to grab a little share. But yeah, I'm not going there to Kevin Na.
I got you. Yeah. Me neither. I was hoping you talked me into him, but it didn't work. So
I can't do it with him, man. I mean, there's some guys I maybe could on certain weeks, but I can't this week with Na. Not with the amount of quality that's in this field that feels a lot more dependable.
Yeah, I got you. Well, that's about all I got. You want to give a little shout out to Rotoballer real quick?
Yeah, go check out Rotoballer. Running a great offer on our PGA Premium package right now. You can use promo code NICE. Get it for $50 for the rest of the season. It's amazing. Got a research station, lineup optimizer, tons of articles. Spencer does a Vegas report over there. He's nailing bets left and right. So definitely go check it out if you can. A lot of great guys working over there doing quality work. So definitely appreciate you checking that out at rotoballer.com.
All right, buddy. You got any golf plans this weekend?
Oh, I'm probably going back home. I'm going back home, buddy. I'm going back to the Brook, the Maples 840 group. Hopefully, I hadn't talked to anybody yet, but probably where I'll be this weekend, I guess. What about you? You got any other tournaments coming up?
I have cashed in all of my coupons for the year. I am now officially going to be already been summoned to do a little painting in the baby's new room.
Gotcha.
And I'm afraid that is the best part of the weekend that's coming up because I'm afraid that following that is going to be furniture shopping. So,
man,
yeah, that's what I'm looking at. That's what's in my future, Joe. So
you've been having it rough, my man. Car shopping, furniture shopping, rough stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Rough stuff.
Hopefully,
you need to win this week.
Yeah,
you need a GPP win this week.
that's right. Hopefully, we'll knock some lineups out. So,
yeah, man, I hope so, and I hope everybody watching has great luck. It's going to be a fun one, man. Really quality field, and we know that this golf course is awesome. Can produce some really really fun tournaments. So I'm looking forward to it.
all right, buddy. Well, I'm sure we'll text over the weekend. Everybody out there, good luck.
Stop the boat, you're taking me down. When you let me go, I'm just asking you how. Could you have ever known when you're taking me out? You cut right to the bone, yeah. Erroneous sex.